Hi mate, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah,
You well?
good. Yeah, really good, really good. Yeah, mate, the podcast has some really interesting guests coming up, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's been about a month now that we've been going. Feedback's been really good so far.
Yeah,
I said we've had some great guests. There's plenty of episodes in the can, which is good. So we've got stuff to come. But yeah, I'm just been really taken back by the sort of positive feedback and the vibes we're getting from people. It's been really good.
yeah, definitely. And I think it's important to say, if you're listening to this or you're watching it on YouTube, and you think, oh, I wish they'd covered that area or whatever it is, then let us know. Because if we've already recorded it, then we can let you know and give you an idea of when that'll be coming out. But also, we really want to make this, about you, your weight loss journey. So if there's an area that you want us to cover, we can try and get a guest speaker on if that's suitable, or we can at least cover it ourselves.
Yeah, and if you've got any ideas, let us know in the reviews. Leave a review and say, look, I'd love to hear something about this. We can get that done. But yeah, there's been some surprising things that have happened since launching this podcast, and things I hadn't prepared for or ever expected. I've had a few dudes send me pictures of them in their pants in the last couple of weeks.
And that's why Mark's so happy today. He absolutely loves it.
I had never expected this to come, but there's people that have contacted me saying, look, I'd really like to come on the podcast, and here's my before and after. And so we've got guys looking a lot fitter and healthier in their pants, and I'm thinking, okay.
Well, Mark's thinking, and yeah, I would.
Oh, I'm not going to say too much on that. But it's one of the things I hadn't expected to happen so far. But no, but seriously, if you've you've lost a lot of weight, you've got a story to tell, get in touch. I can even deal with you in your pants if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, as long as it's not when we're recording, we're happy with that. But I think the weight loss journeys that each of us have had are all individual, so there's always something that people can take from it, and it can help inspire others to, to get the motivation and to get going, because that's something I think all of us at some point have struggled with, right?
Too right, yeah.
But mate, let's talk about Man v Fat. So, we're recording. We played on Monday. It's now Thursday. So, how did you get on Monday just gone?
So this Monday just gone, we drew 1-1. Tough game, but we had the aggregate scores come in. So after weight loss, so the match finished 1-1, but after the game, after weight loss scores have all been tallied up, we won 6-4. So mighty win for the Peterborough, and we're going to make another challenge for the league title again this season. So, good. How about your guys?
Yeah, so we lost 3-0, but we were playing the black team, who are really good this season, I suppose. So, relatively happy with that. We also were missing quite a few of our players through work commitments and stuff like that. So we had a few subs come in. I think that just put us back a bit, but we're quite happy with that, mate. And I think we lost by a goal when the final tally came out. So, yeah, it was all right. Hopefully this week we'll have more of the lads back around their work commitments. So it's always hard, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. But, yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you what I have been doing, mate, which I really like, is I've been subbing quite a lot recently. So subbing, so basically when you play in a league, you get your game, but when other teams can't put a team quite together, if they need an extra player or something like that, you can basically put your name forward and potentially have more game time.
Yeah,
which you don't pay for, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's good, mate. That's all the football sort of. And how did Norwich get on at the weekend?
How do we get on at the weekend? Well, we just played Leeds and we drew 1-1. And at the weekend we smashed. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, but it's championship, and no one cares.
So but all good. But should we talk about today's guest and today's episode?
Yeah, I'll let you take this one, mate, because our guest today is.
So this is a personal one to me. So as I've said in previous episodes, I lost my weight through the Cambridge Weight Plan. And part of the Cambridge Weight Plan, or the official title is the 1-to-1 diet by the Cambridge Weight Plan. And part of that is you have a consultant which you see on a 1-to-1 basis, and they sort of supply you with with meal replacement products, And yeah, they sort of like take your measurements, take your weight, and that's who you're accountable to on this diet. And I think that's a big part of the success of it. But yes, so the lady we are seeing today is Georgette Louis. She is my Cambridge Weight Plan consultant, and yeah, I think should be a good episode. She's very knowledgeable, and yeah, she's been a big part of my weight loss story. So it's someone that will have real significance, and hopefully, if you're looking at losing weight and want to try the Cambridge Weight Plan, it might help you too.
Well, let's get into it then.
Let's do it. And here she is. Good morning, George. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And what about you both?
Yeah, it's great. Great to have you on.
Thank
As
you.
I've just been saying, this is quite a personal one for me, as you have been my consultant, helping me through my own weight loss journey. So, yeah, a lot to cover on this one. Where should we start then? I guess.
At the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, at the beginning. So this is kind of one where we're going to talk a bit about my story, and like I said, how this year I turned 40 and decided I need to take great care of myself. And so it was in, I think, December of 2023 on a Facebook group, on one of the local village groups, as there are. Georgette put a post on there saying the one-to-one diet by Cambridge Weight Plan. Oh, I remember that. I did that once before and it worked really, really well. Just for context, I did, as it was called then, the Cambridge Diet back in 2009. I went on that plan. I was about 16, 17 stone. I lost, I think it was 4.5 stone back then. And yeah, and for all intents and purposes, it worked. I kept it off. But over the course of 15 years, things happened and I slowly began to put weight on. But yeah, throughout my time, I've often tried different weight loss methods, but it was the Cambridge diet, or the one-to-one diet as it is now, which really worked for me. So then in February of 24, I met George. And yeah, so yeah, and that was me, where I was then just hitting 19 stone, and it was like, right, we've got to do something here. So yeah, what can you remember about a 19 stone Mark walking through the door?
I remember that his trousers were tight. He was a big guy like this. His personality shone through, definitely. But we sat and had a chat about what you've just explained, and I knew that I could help you without, a blink of an eye. I could help you. Your mindset, which is a critical thing, was exactly in the right place, because you really wanted to address this and get some results before your 40th in May. I did get the month right, didn't I?
Yes, that's right. Yep. Yeah.
And so we went through all our, looking at your medications, if you had any medical conditions, looked at your lifestyle, and we agreed a plan to suit you. And you stuck to it. So I have to applaud you, because this plan, whichever plan you choose, is proven to work, but you do have to stick to it. And if there is something that could knock you off, that's the whole point of me being the one-to-one for you, because you can talk to me about it. It doesn't have to be every week when we see each other. It can be during that time. And we can find a way around things to minimize any negative impact it might have on your journey. So we did, and off you went. And then within a few months, I remember you were coming in and your trousers were actually falling down.
Literally, I remember walking up the stairs, going to your office, and whole trousers up.
Yes.
Up to that point.
That is just like the highlight.
So so you guys are talking about the amazing results, but from my perspective, George, I apologise. I obviously don't know a lot about the Cambridge, the one-to-one diet. So just explain to me sort of what it is then. How does it work? What's the sort of process behind it? And this.
Okay. the one-to-one diet is actually celebrating its 40th birthday this year as well, Mark. And it was developed by Dr. Alan Howard 40 years ago, who did extensive research into obesity and optimum weight loss, right? And he launched this company called the Cambridge Diet. And this company has helped people with lots of medical conditions to get down to a healthy weight so that they can get off medication and live their life going forward. All the products are nutritionally balanced. And would you believe there's over 25 vitamins and minerals in each product, which create about 169 nutritional benefits. So you're getting a complete package in each meal replacement. So we obviously have to look at everybody as an individual, because it's not a case of one size fits all. So when a client comes to see me, I go through a medical protocol looking at their medications, any medical conditions, and their lifestyle, because that's important, because they might love their football, for example, or going to the gym or whatever. So I have to take all that into consideration. And then I can discuss, we obviously do weights and measures as well. I discuss what of the 6 plans that we have would be of best benefit. Now,
do you want to tell us a bit about the different steps?
Okay, right. The first step is just solely meal replacement. So you don't have any conventional food blended in to that. Now, on average, it doesn't matter what step you're on, you could lose about a stone a month. But again, that varies depending on the individual. Probably with step 1, which is the one I started on when I did my weight loss 6 or 7 years ago. That was the one I started on. And as I said, there's about 40 products, meal replacement products to choose from. So there'll be something for everybody.
And how many products do you have a day on that?
On that one, gentlemen have 4. Women have, if they're under 5'8". Then there's step 2. All the next steps I'm going to share with you are for everybody. So step 2 is 1 meal of 200 calories, which is very low carb and high protein, and then 3 meal replacements. And that was a favourite of yours,
Yeah,
Mark,
that was
isn't
the
it?
one that I done.
Yeah, and you've done really well on that one. And then step 3 and 4 are both 2 meal replacement products for each one of those, but it varies between 600 and 800 calories for those. So it's more flexible, and you can actually have those 2 products and your 600 calories during the day. It doesn't matter when, as long as you have them. It's always important to have your products.
Do you have carbohydrates in there?
Sorry?
You have carbohydrates. Do you have a bit?
You can. I do suggest to keep them to a minimum, and I also have a planner to help you with the best choices to make, because as you're on meal replacements and conventional food, the idea is to get you to learn about making the best choices for your food and looking at portion control, your percentage of carbs versus protein versus vegetables on your plate. Yes, do introduce them, but, just be wise with that. And step 5 is 1 meal replacement and 1,300 products, 1,300 calories, 1,300 products. And step 6, right, you're now maintaining, so it's all conventional food, but some clients really love to have 1 product a day because they love that product and they don't want to go without it, which is fine, really fine.
So
and the idea, you see, going through the steps and introducing conventional food is to help change the relationship with food, so that when you're off plan, you make the right decisions and you don't just, okay?
Okay, cool. So yeah, because it's all about those long-term changes, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
I-
Absolutely.
So you said it depends. Like you have to have like a consultation. Is that right? With a new. So if I say
Yes.
great plan,
Yeah.
and does everyone start on step one then? You said
No. It depends on what I gather from their lifestyle and their medications and medical conditions. So we have a medical protocol. For example, with people with type 2 diabetes, who I have to say, I have lots of clients with that, and they're now in remission. They're off medication and everything. They start on step 5, which was one product and 1,300 calories. And then every couple of weeks, we step them down a step to step 4, a couple of weeks to step 3. And the lowest they can go is probably step 2, right? But we do it gradually because it would just be too much to go boom at the beginning. So it really just depends.
Yeah, I remember when I did it first time round back in 2009, they recommended that I start on a step 5 just to sort of bed myself in really and just get used to having the products. And I think I lost about £10 in that first week just doing 2 products and 1,300 calories. So, I mean, that was pretty crazy. And then,
One
but then I had that one product, beg your pardon, yeah. And then with that, I then, stepped it up. And I got to the point where I was on step 1 and on 4 products a day. If I'm honest, George, it wasn't for me. I did get a bit miserable because I did miss my food.
That's why it's so important to ask the client what they think they can do, because the one they think they can cope with is the one that will work for them.
Absolutely. And that was what it was for me. It said on step 1, and I have dabbled in it. But yeah, I just miss food. And so I realised that the step 2 of having 3 products and then a small sort of carb-free meal was the way forward for me.
Yeah.
And so of a Friday night, I could do myself a little bit of steak and some vegetables and enjoy it and have something to look forward to. Other times I'd do, grill a bit of chicken and do a few stir-fry veg with maybe a bit of spray oil or something like that. And
Well, on our app, because we now have an app, on our 30th, it's taken us 40 years to get an app, but we've got an app now. And on there, there's a record of your weight loss journey, because I input it on my laptop and it goes to the app, obviously. And on there are recipes relevant to whatever step you're on. So it's already calorie counted. So you can make...
Unless you know that.
It's called recipes. Press the button that says recipes, okay?
Simple when you know how.
And then, so there's lots of recipes on there. You can see your journey, and there's a blog on there and lots of things. You can see motivational stories from other clients who have been on their own weight loss journey too. When I started, because I had gone looking, I knew I had to lose weight because I just felt like a blob, right? And I didn't know what to do. So I tried various things that didn't work. But then I saw this, which I remembered as the Cambridge diet from 100 years ago, So I went along, had my thing, my one-to-one, and I decided to do Soul Source, which was 3, just for a woman, 3 products a day. I wanted to lose 3 stone. I couldn't see how the hell am I going to lose 3 stone. So we broke it down into bite-sized chunks, and I thought I'll try a stone at a time, which I obviously achieved. And then I worked my way up to help me maintain.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing for me. And so I come to you in February saying I need to lose 6 stone.
Yeah.
And it was, okay, well, we can't do that in one fell swoop. We need to break this down. So it was let's set a 2 stone to start with.
Yeah.
And let's see how we get on. And let's try and get that done by May. And this was February. But then I'd lost 2 stone by the end of March, I think. So it was like, right, okay. let's lose another 2 stone. How long is that going to take?
Yeah.
And then probably into
Well,
June.
everybody's journey is different. So
Yeah.
the thing you mustn't do is compare yourself to other people, because you're an individual, they're an individual. They have different medical conditions or whatever. They might be going to the gym or playing football, whatever. So that's an important thing, not to compare, but celebrate. Even a pound loss is a pound loss. And when you've lost 20 pounds, you've actually lost the weight of a car tire. So when clients have reached that, I go and ask them to go and find a car tire and pick it up, because your brain can't understand how much 20 pound weighs.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I like when I come to see you, George, is you've got those little weight bags of like half a stone. Have you got them to hand, have you?
Yeah, I've got this one.
There you go. So there's 1 spoon bag. So when I loads up the stone, it's like,
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I dropped it on the floor. My floor's probably collapsing now, but you know.
Yeah, sorry. With the plan, so someone comes in, they've never done their Cambridge weight plan before. You have a consultation with them, you decide on what step then they need to come in on, and then what does that look like then? So I know from Mark, there's like protein bars and stuff like that, which are meal replacements. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Just to mention though, I have clients all over the UK, so I don't necessarily see them all face to face here. If they want to do virtual, I can do virtual and get their meal replacements delivered directly to them. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have savoury meals. Mark he likes his chili con carne.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's probably my favourite rather than
Yeah.
the meals.
We have rice cereals, which is like Cocoa Pops. Okay? He doesn't like Cocoa Pops. We have smoothies and shakes. We have soups, which are like, I would say, cup of soup. We have porridges, bars, bites. And on average, each meal replacement is about 200 calories. So, and each of those meal replacements will contain at least 25 vitamins to create the 169 health benefits.
Yeah, and I just got me thinking earlier when you were saying that, because I think you said earlier as well, there's a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals, a lot of goodness within these replacements. So
Yes.
I didn't know that actually they are. When we say meal replacement, it can be a meal as well.
It's a meal. It's not a snack. It's an actual meal.
And do you find eventually that, because this is something that we've been looking at separately, is when your body has the vitamins and nutrients it needs, after a while, your body starts to realize it becomes less reliant on maybe the calories so much because it's getting the goodness that it needs. Is that how it works?
I don't know, but I remember this really clearly when I was doing my plan. I went to the doctors because they do like a yearly health check at the doctors. They take your bloods and whatever, right? And when I, a week later, got the results, there were absolutely no deficiencies in any vitamins or minerals. And the doctor actually stated that he'd never seen a blood test report come back like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to go for a blood test to get it, but I can prove to you that it really does work.
I think in this world of like ultra processed food, where we're being full up on food that's perhaps not giving us what we need, it's nice to hear that that a diet actually isn't just about losing weight. Perhaps there's also that added benefit of we're going to put the goodness that your body needs to thrive in there as well. So I quite like the
I try and help make people aware of things in foods that they buy in supermarkets. To look sometime, I know we're in a rush when we're going around there, boom, boom, boom in the trolley, but sometimes take a look at the ingredients that are on there and how they're selling them to us to eat is another matter. So it's an awareness thing. And for example, we even do snacks, which are our pop squares like crisps. Okay. Ours are high in fiber and protein and very low in sugar and fat. Whereas if you go and buy crisps in the supermarket, they're high in sugar and fat and low in fiber and protein. So, sugar is the devil, basically. Natural occurring sugars, wonderful, but refined sugars, no.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you're on the plan, then so you have these meal replacements through the day, and they can be anything from a bar to a full-on place and some snacks. But do you then eat a meal as well, then, like a home cooked meal to go with it, or?
Yeah, from step 2, you can have conventional food. And, there's, depending on the step, as I mentioned, there's either 200, 600, 800 or 1,300 calories of conventional food. Now, you don't sit and eat the whole lot at once. If that doesn't suit you, you can split it up in the day accordingly. Okay? But I do keep a food log, and I do use my Fitness Pal because on there's a food log just to make me aware of what the hell I'm eating and not to go over,
And that's for accountability, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a free app. Yeah.
Yeah. Part of Man v Fat, we're required to sort of log our food intake.
Yeah.
And so we use my Fitness Pal every week just to sort of enter that in. And if we share that with the coach, it's every 3 players on the team who share their sort of food tracking, we get an extra goal added to the team score.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
It does. It's a big part of it. Certainly.
Some people like to write it down, and some people are quite happy going ping ping on the app. And all our meal replacements are actually on the app anyway, so it will find them. If you write a breakfast smoothie by 1-to-1, it knows it, so it will find it.
Okay. And so dealing with people that are on the plan, and I guess we've had our issues on here, there will be something that comes up like a holiday.
Absolutely.
To the races or something like that.
Yes, the races.
That will...
Yeah, well, that's what I mentioned earlier. Well, as long as you tell me that this is coming up, then, for example, if you're going out for an anniversary dinner, okay, I'll ask you what restaurant you're going to. We'll look at the menu because most restaurants have the menus online, and we'll have a look. And I'd ask you, what would you tend to go for? And we can suss out the best choice for you instead of suddenly getting to the restaurant, opening the menu and thinking, shit, what shall I have? Right? And in the whole thing, you just choose something which may not be the best thing for you to choose. You've already decided, so you go this. And probably you won't have a dessert because that's full of sugar, but you might have a starter and main course, or even just a main course.
Yeah. No, and we might as well talk about it. That's what happened this weekend, actually. So it was my 6-year anniversary with my partner, Annie. I didn't actually tell you about this, but I just did it. Yeah, and then I came in Monday morning and
Yes.
I said, well, I had a few beers at the weekend and we went out and had a big dinner last night. I really don't want to stand on those scales. And you were like, no, you're getting on those scales, Mark. This is your accountability here. And it kind of was a bit of a wake-up moment for me. No, it was the right thing to do. And it was a case of, yeah, look, I've got to take ownership of it here. And so, this had a negative effect on my sort of weight loss for this week.
But you'll change that this week.
Yeah, and I've been bang on it this week and feel like I'm found my rhythm. And I think that's so important on what we do on this is you once you're in that flow, it just becomes easy. But yeah, it was a case of at that moment in time, I had to just take ownership of it, saying, look, you've done something that's disrupted what you're trying to achieve. Accept it, own it, and move on.
Yes, exactly. Draw the line. Today's another day. Off we go again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We do suggest no alcohol, just to mention, on this plan, because when you have alcohol in your system, it affects the metabolism. And instead of it being able to focus on getting rid of fat, etc., out of your body, it has to put that on the back burner and think, oh shit, we have alcohol here. So let's get rid of that. And that can take up to 3 days in a week out, because it's got to focus on that substance that's in your system. So we do suggest that.
We had one of our previous guests say that, actually, and it has been quite controversial on social media. Someone says that's not true. And yeah, so she actually sent me the scientific research that actually says what you just said.
Yes.
Your body needs to work off the alcohol, and that unfortunately means it's not doing anything.
Well, you see, I have some really good excuses for avoiding alcohol when you're out. For example, if you're on antibiotics, you can't drink alcohol. So you can just say, they don't know, I'm on antibiotics. Or the other reason is that you're driving.
Yeah,
Simple.
absolutely. Designated driver, and that's it. No one asks any questions then, do they?
Yeah, shit.
Exactly.
Live in a world, isn't it shit that we live in a world where you feel the need for your friends to drink for you to have a good night? Because I've never been a big drinker. I've always had the opinion that if I want to drink, I will drink. If I don't, I won't. And I don't see what that
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
But that social pressure is quite hard for people, isn't it?
It is. But if for example, you're going to something special, like a wedding or I don't know, something, and you know there's going to be alcohol there, then I will suggest what you have in your diet the day before, the day of, and the day after. And that is to include more carbs in your food intake for that time, because that helps minimize the impact of alcohol intake. But I would still stay away.
Yeah, and like I said, there's times where you will and times where you won't, I guess. And like I said that was one of the first things we had when I started, was that I had a big trip to Cheltenham races
Yes.
with my mates. And we had this discussion, and I just said, look, I'm going with the lads. I'm going to drink 10 pints of Guinness. And that's just how it is. So, but you say, okay, well, let's work around this then.
Yeah.
And if that's what's going to be the case, and we'll deal with it. And so it was, okay, so the day before, get some carbohydrates into you. The day of it, again, eat your carbohydrates, stay hydrated as well, not just alcohol, but
absolutely.
your water. And obviously water is a part of this plan is huge.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute.
Yeah.
And then, so that's what I did. And so I went to Cheltenham, saw the races, had a few pints. We went out for a curry in the evening, stopped over, had some breakfast the following morning. And then with that I just cut it flat, and then I was back on it. And it was almost like it didn't stop. It didn't really put me out of my rhythm. I was straight back into it. And I think it was just a case of, we spoke about it, we planned for it, we prepared for it. And that's how we then came out the other side, and it didn't disrupt my weight loss at all. I still think from week to week I weighed in, and I didn't lose a lot that week. I think probably only a pound.
But a pound's a pound.
Yeah, but in that 7-day period, I sat there and thought, I've got away with this one, really. But yeah, again, these things happen, and you're gonna.
It's life. It's life.
Exactly, and you just got to prepare for it and plan for it sometimes. So yeah, going on to that next point, and drinking is not great with this plan, but drinking water, it absolutely is, and that is something that I really sort of took on, and yeah.
Yes, you're paying for England.
Yes, you do. You go to the toilet a lot.
Yeah, which doesn't matter. That's what it's for. You've got to drink at least 2.5 liters of water, which is about 4 pints. If you want to drink a bit more, drink more, but you've got to have that, And literally, I have my water bottle, which is by my bed at night. So as soon as I get up, I'm drinking water. When it's empty, I automatically go and fill it. Water, drink, and it's just a constant thing. And I don't go out the house without my water bottle now. That is a habit, whereas I didn't used to be a water drinker. I don't know actually what I used to drink. But anyway, water is important because it helps you maintain your blood volume. It stops you dehydrating. And if your mouth feels dry, you're actually in dehydration mode anyway. So that's why you need to keep drinking. A little and often is the way to go. Don't drink a gallon and think, oh, I've done it. A little and often during the day. And there is even an app, I can't remember what it's called, to help you log that it goes off every couple of hours to remind you, have you drunk some more water? And you can have black coffee counts as water, herbal teas and things, they'll count.
You also get those bottles, don't you, with the hours of each day on, so that you...
Yeah.
And they're quite good.
Whatever suits you.
As you're saying, other things that make up that is your black coffee. I like my coffee, and I've got into the habit. I'll have a nice strong coffee in the morning when I'm out on the road, but then when I get home, I've got decaf coffee as well, so I can have like a nice warm drink in the evening. And the other thing for me that I've really drink a lot of at the moment is sparkling water.
Yeah, I do.
And I know it's not,
do you like water, Darren? Or that's the what I meant. Still,
yeah, no, but sparkling water for me, I'm absolutely fine with it, and I called it my beer, and so then I found myself then like spending a little bit more money on sort of nice sparkling water, and I like the glass bottles of San Pellegrino, and it's Friday night. I'll treat myself to a bottle of the good stuff.
If that works for you, fine. And even for people who aren't water fanatics, we do calorie-free water flavourings so that that gets them into the habit of drinking water.
Yeah.
Anything to achieve the objective.
So, George, I'm aware of some people who sort of haven't been able to do the weight plan. They've gone to see their consultant. They've been very interested in it. And I don't want to go into the ins and outs of it, but for medical reasons, they've been told that they can't do it. What sort of things would stop someone that listening to this episode thinking, yeah, this is...
Okay. Well, there is a key, a list, but basically, if the BMI, body mass index, is less than 18, okay, that means that they're on the verge of underweight. And we would not support somebody who was that stage. In the same way, if somebody else's BMI was 70 plus, they have probably a lot of health problems, so we don't support that. However, I am a nutritionist anyway. I've got a diploma in nutrition. I do help them, if they ask me to, I will give them a list of the best foods to eat so that, that might check their behaviors with food, so that's all I can do. All right. Things like, what else have they got? Things like heart conditions, arrhythmias. If they've had, for example, a heart attack in the last 3 months, right, then they can't do it. But if they've gone beyond that, etc., we can support them. I need to look at their medications. I have to sit here going through each medication, and then I get this out to look at every single medication and seeing whether it's appropriate or not. Antidepressants, general antidepressants are fine, but there is a group of antidepressants that can't take that. I know this won't apply to guys, but if you're pregnant, then obviously not. If you've given birth within the last 3 months, not. And if you're breastfeeding, not, because obviously the vitamins and minerals that you're taking in are very concentrated, and the vitamin A that the baby would then take in is far too high. So they have to not be breastfeeding. Men and women over the age of 17, we can take. But if they're like 14 plus, they have to have parental permission, and the parent has to attend either face-to-face or virtually with that child.
So are these the categories that you said, like around, the cardio and cardiovascular, the heart issues and stuff? Do you is that because of the medication that they could be on and how the diet could potentially impact that medication? Is that what this is more about?
I think it's because the severity of the medical condition would not be appropriate to be on a diet at that time, that sort of diet at the time, which is why I offer them best foods to eat so that they can go home with something to look at what they're eating.
So I guess it's really about if you're unsure, seek medical advice.
Well, if at the office we have a medical team, so if I'm not sure or I just want them to confirm my gut feeling, I send the information to the office, to the medical team, and they confirm back to me.
Sure.
And also, I do with other groups of people who are eligible to come on plan. If they're on certain medical conditions, then I write to the GP just to inform them that they are, for example, if they're type 2 diabetes and on metformin or whatever, or even not on medication, I write as a courtesy to the GP to inform them that they're on plan, because he's probably said to them, you need to lose weight as well.
Okay, no, that's helpful, and that's a safeguard, if anything, isn't it? And so that I do see the benefit of that. When I went on the plan, and I remember sort of posting some sort of social media updates that I'm doing the Cambridge weight plan, and look, I've lost a couple of stone already. I got a little bit of hate. I don't know if hate's the right word, but a few people saying, "Oh, it's a bit of a cheater's way out, and you're going to pile it back on as soon as you finish." And that kind of pissed me off a bit. And to be honest, like, I've done it before, and I did put a bit of weight on, but I didn't pile it back on. But what would you say if people have sort of used that and said, look, people on the Cambridge weight plan, just pile it back on? What would be your response?
I'm trying to find a polite response. Right. So, as I said, you can't put people in boxes, so everybody's going to have a different reason for saying that. But I find a common reason for that sort of comment is that they're jealous that you're actually taking control of what you need to do for your health. And maybe they know that really they should do that too, but they're not in the right mindset yet to say, yes, I need to do it. However, the day comes when you're standing in front of them, a shadow of your former self, and you don't need to answer back because you have silently given that answer by you. But that is a very common reason.
What I don't get with that, right, is that would be true of any diet. If you go all out on any diet, anywhere, any diet, and then all of a sudden you stop and go back to your bad habits, that's gonna happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But we started this podcast, didn't we, by saying the 6-step process is about, it's about making the changes now, losing the weight perhaps, and then making it stay going forward. And that's true of any diet. We need...
Absolutely. Which is why I'm really keen to educate clients on changing their behaviours and what to do. And even when they finish plan and they've got where they want to be, I'm still here for them. They can always text me, or, we can arrange a, virtual if they want or whatever. I can answer any questions just because they're not on plan anymore. If they want just to check, or like saying, George, I'm having a bad day, then always there.
Sure. One of the other concerns that got flagged to me early doors, and I've got my own thoughts on it, but I want to ask you, is people are concerned about the cost of the plan and
Yes. Okay.
how much is how would you respond to that? Like I said, I've got my own ideas, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. But let's
Okay.
what's your
Right.
response?
Right. So remember that these are meal replacements, right? So what they would go to the supermarket to buy for their weekly shop, they aren't having to buy that because we've replaced that meal with this. So ultimately, they're not going to be spending more, right? The other thing is they won't be buying takeaways and alcohol. So that's another saving. And also they get my one-to-one support thrown in to that. So they actually don't spend any more. And the price of a product is actually less than a Costa coffee.
Yeah.
So how many times do they stop for a
Yeah.
So
And that was
that's my answer.
Yeah, and that was kind of my feeling as well. And that's something I that was how I I wouldn't say rationalize it. That's how I accepted it. Was prior to going on plan, I'd have like a meal deal every day at lunch, maybe get a coffee as well. So I'd be spending 7-8 quid a day just out on the road with work. And then, takeaway. Wasn't eating takeaways, and I wasn't buying beers. And so, if anything, I was probably better off than on plan than when I was otherwise. So, no, that's cool.
And when I remember when I first went shopping, when I started my plan, I went to the supermarket, got the trolley, and what actually hadn't occurred to me was that I was only buying food for my husband for the week. So when I got to the till, I thought, that's right, okay, I get. Sorry.
I think as well that when you like, I know that if I go on to like a diet plan, my wife will generally want to come with me because there's nothing worse, is there, than sitting down with your partner and you've got a nice healthy meal they've got a nice healthy meal and you've got, I don't know, burger and chips or something like that. It kind of does. And and I think the takeaway thing is massive. Like when we went for a takeaway a few weeks ago, and I think for me, my wife and the kids, it was like 45 quid. You soon start paying for a plan, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think we're going to sort of start to wind it up there, George.
Okay.
But tell us sort of about, like, if people want to come and find you, where can they find you?
They can find me all over Facebook at the One-to-One Diet with Georgette. Okay, that is my Facebook page. The one, and it's a 1 and a 1, not a 1. They can find me on LinkedIn if they just type my name in, Georgette Louis, Louis, but there's not many Georgettes about, so they'll probably find me with just Georgette. And I'm on LinkedIn as me, Georgette Louis. Let's see, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I'm on X as well as just Georgette Louis, and Threads, which I haven't got my head round, but I am there.
And how can people find out more about the Cambridge Weight Loss Plan? Is there a website?
Yeah, there's a website, the One-to-One Diet, if they just type that.com. And if they put a slash and put Georgette L after the One-to-One Diet, they'll find my webpage on there anyway. But as I said, I look after people all over the UK and virtually and face-to-face.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks ever so much, George, for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Massive thank you to George or Georgette.
Yeah.
An interesting episode. It's so there's to recap, there's 6 steps. Not all 6 steps will be for everyone. It very much depends on the person. The consultant gives you a bit of an intro, gets to know a little bit more about you, your needs, your lifestyle, and then they set you in. There's meal replacements, so they're very nutritionally built around the diet.
Yes, so they're packed full of essential nutrition, and that's so your body's not being starved; it's getting what it needs. What I liked about the episode was there was a few myths that were dispelled, which I think is really important. One of them being people say the cost of it's really expensive, and while it does have a cost attached to it, you're saving money elsewhere. So when you actually look at it in the cold light of day, it's maybe not cost neutral. It isn't far off it. I found I was better off because I wasn't spending money on takeaways. I wasn't spending money on beer, going down the pub and that. I wasn't spending money on a meal deal every day and a bloody sort of frothy latte or something from Starbucks. They're getting fucking expensive these days as well. I bet if you notice. Cheaper to get a pint, if anything. So yeah, and that was a big part of it. And obviously with every diet plan, the critics are going to say once you come off it, you're just going to pile it back on, and it's no point doing it.
Like I said in the episode, though, mate, I do think that's true of any diet. I really do.
100%.
Especially these juice ones, right? If you go and get juiced up and you're just drinking juice, as soon as you go eating solid foods,
yeah,
you know. But the thing is, like any diet, if you did that diet solidly and then you ate healthy, that's gonna certainly limit that or make that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the difference. It's how you react to it when you come out the other side. And if you're gonna go back to the habits that made you fat in the first place, then don't be shocked if you end up fat again. That's
fuck me, it's common sense.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, sometimes we've got to spell it out like that, maybe. But yeah, like any diet, it's not the answer long term. It's a tool. It's a weight loss tool. It will help you lose your weight and then get you into a better position. Once you're in that better position, it's then on you to then try to keep it off and live a healthier, happier life. So, yeah. Good episode, though, yeah?
Yeah. And if you've enjoyed it at home, then be sure to let us know what you think. We're on social media everywhere. Feel free to drop me or Mark a DM and let us know how you've got on Cambridge Weight Plan. Or if you want to know more, Mark can hook you up with George, because like she said, she works with people all over the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you've enjoyed the episode, if you've been enjoying the podcast so far, then please do give us a review on your podcast provider.